Way. So Erica, you got a question.
So my question is for Chester. I was walking my dog in the park just two days ago, and I ran into a managing director from one of the banks. And he was talking about the hybrid revolution and going back to work. And then as an aside, he said, my company asked me to give a talk on mental health. And he's like, I'm not a practitioner, I'm a banker, but he's been there a long time, and he brought a bunch of other people to be on this panel and to share stories about things that are going on with anxiety and working from home with your kids and all of that. 1,500 people came when it was announced, which surprised me. You're in this space. So I guess clearly this is an issue, and you wrote this book on anxiety at work. I guess I'd love to hear, what are couple of the companies doing about it in terms of, you mentioned in your remarks about the destigmatization, which is happening. But are there some examples of companies that are putting their money where their mouth is in terms of helping employees address it?
Yeah, several, and world-class organizations. One of my favorite is American Express, where, the theme for the whole year was mental health and well-being. And so they provided a lot of support as far as counseling and helplines and so on. More than anything, though, they shared stories. And I think that was really important. They even brought in some, world-class athletes, and they would have forums, and the athletes would talk about the anxiety. They would talk about the barriers, and they, more than anything, they talk about solutions. How do you deal with it? And I think that's really important, is you make it a priority. Nabila Extalaban is this wonderful leader at Walmart Canada, 100,000 employees. Their number one priority this year is wellness and well-being. So what do? They don't just talk about it. They gave everybody a free subscription to Calm. Now that may seem kind of funny, because we put in our book, never in the history of the world has telling someone to calm down ever calmed down anybody, right? And yet the point is then they create a path forward. One-on-ones are really important. And I'll tell you, Erica, one of the things that was really interesting that they did, because uncertainty is the number one generator of anxiety, is they put together really good career pathing, career roadmaps for all their people. And I thought that was really interesting, because the anxiety was, is my work good enough? Right. And so on. And so by talking about it, publicizing it, creating tools to deal with it, and then that extra step, here's your career path. Here's what's expected. No more, no less. Don't work on the week. You see where I'm going with this. And they did a brilliant job.